Yo, I played a bunch of roguelike games recently, and I love this genre so much, man, but most of them suck. I don't know if it's just due to the nature of indie developers or what, but you might get an instant classic or you might get a pile of dog shit. But the bottom line here is, if you're trying to find a new roguelike to play, I'm gonna save you a shitload of time and money right now. 5. BlazBlue Entropy Effect. This is a hub-based 2D fighting game with a roguelike hot glued onto it. The levels and bosses are somewhat random. There are 10 characters and a variety of build options to keep the runs fresh and fun. Artistically, BlazBlue is beautiful. Its super crisp, clear animations coupled with the nice art direction lend itself to the combat of the game. Even if you're not a huge fan of the anime art style, I think it still fits together very nicely. That being said, the mechanics in this game are fantastic. It feels like a side-scrolling fighting game with complex combos and snappy, crunchy animations. It's challenging but rewarding, and I think anyone who loves fighting games is going to love this part. You can spend tons of time exploring the combo system and mastering each individual character. On its own, this part of the game is sick. However, this game doesn't really seem to innovate on the roguelike genre that much. Outside of the combo system and unique character design, it basically has no innovations at all that I can tell so far. This might change as time goes on, being that it is a live service game, and the weakest part of this game by far is just its roguelike system. The meta progression is boring and kind of cookie cutter, and the in-game power-ups feel alright, but not very diverse in what your build ends up doing. Overall, I'd say it's a very fun game that is carried largely by its crisp graphics and tight mechanics with a lot of room to grow and improve. In 4th place, we have Inkbound. This is a top-down, turn-based co-op roguelike where you can select between different characters and progress through the fun, albeit weird quest lines to unlock a meta progression. Compared to other games on this list, this is probably one of the weakest graphics, and the art can leave something to be desired. But it is quirky, and it's indie, and it may appeal to some people, but it is the weakest part of the game for me by far. Now, this is a turn-based game, and actually can feel very chess-like at times. In many ways, this is actually reminiscent to me of games like Fire Emblem or other turn-based strategy games, where the mechanics don't really come into play much. However, this game is extremely innovative, and I really haven't seen something done in this way before. There are other turn-based roguelikes out there, but this system combined with the co-op is just something special to me. Plus, the roguelike progression system in this game is awesome, and it really feels like you can do a ton of different builds with each character, and they're just diverse and clear to understand. It's fun immediately compared to other roguelike systems taking a long time to ramp up, and it gives you a lot of opportunity to experiment. I really can't wait to see where this game goes. Number 3 is Ember Knights, a classic-style co-op roguelike with a ton of emphasis on replayability. Right away, you'll notice that once again, we have a more classic indie art style here, but this one is not bad at all to me. I really enjoy the look, and while it's nothing amazing, I didn't find that it worsened the experience for me at all, and the mechanics are really enjoyable. In many ways, this game just plays like a co-op Hades or something with similar control style and game feel. It's very tight and snappy with a multitude of ways to play the game and express your skill as you improve. But in terms of how much new it brings to the table, to be honest, not a ton. However, the implementation of the weapons with the meta progressions and how each run can feel so different and fun gives it at least a middle score to me. And in regards to the roguelike systems, weapons, meta progressions, and build diversity, it is one of the few roguelikes I have played for hundreds of hours. I love this game, but it feels like there isn't a ton of room for growth here. In 2nd place, it's Raven's Watch. This is one not a lot of people have heard about, and it is a very unique game where you have a finite time limit in each stage to complete as many objectives as you can before facing the boss and moving on to the next stage. This game is not complete yet, but by the end, I think the average run will be roughly 2 hours. Right now, though, it is closer to 1 hour. But let me say, I love the art style of this game. To me, it just captures such a powerful and unique vibe, which I have not seen anywhere else. It's also one of the few roguelikes I've played which actually has the ability to create immersion through its art and music. The mechanics are awesome, especially for someone like me who loves MOBAs and has long wanted a roguelike style MOBA. It is not the tightest on this list, but there is something very addicting about the combat. There's a lot of impact and a flow state that comes with this game. This game is full of innovative ideas and spins on classic roguelike mechanics. The timed approach and overall vibe feel fresh and new and make this game exciting to see what comes. The game system, though, seems a little incomplete, and that makes sense because the game is not officially released. And it is very intriguing, a little too easy to master for me right now. But I trust that improvements will be made because the bones of the internal systems here are awesome. And finally, number one for me has to be Gunfire Reborn. This FPS co-op experience is the ultimate way to spend your Friday night with the boys in Discord. The replayability is amazing, and the devs are consistently adding new features, characters, and levels to the game. It's evident that they believe in what they've made. The art style is actually the thing I'm least excited about. The low poly look is alright, and while I don't dislike it, I also don't go crazy for it. The funny animal characters are pretty much a novelty, but it does also work, so what the heck, I'm good for this. But mechanically, this thing is a banger, and once you're good with it, it bears a similar feel to the very surgical shooters of my time, like Quake or Doom. The characters' abilities all feel very well made, and you're rewarded for your skill. This is the first game I found to successfully merge an FPS with a roguelike. And not only that, but they're also experimenting with new modes and concepts for the game rather than sit on their hands and just stay safe. It's a big deal when a game company is willing to take risks despite having obvious successes in other areas. It means we're going to see more great things from them in the long run. And finally, the internal game systems, and in this case I'm talking about meta progression and internal roguelike run progression, are like the things that I compare every other roguelike to right now. They're so good and fun and add so much variety. They're so clear to understand but take such time to master that it's just exactly what you want when you think roguelike. Most of these other games on this list are worse strictly because of this one factor right here. No one else is threading the needle on the roguelike game system like Gunfire Reborn has. It's amazing.